Hello, ladies. Good morning to you, and again, apologies for this weekend, but I went through some really bad stuff. It was all those storms we had in the beginning of the week pretty much stirred up all the ragweed pollen, and with allergies, with me, it's I first get postnasal drip, my throat starts hurting, I start coughing, and then I get sinus infection. So it just went from bad to worse. I ended up with heavy doses of antibiotics and decongestants. So hi Darla, hi Sandra, hi Ramona, hi Sharon, hi Beth. And we have a very nice weather right now. I mean, it gets a little bit low at night. I mean, we had anywhere from mid 40s to mid 60s, and during the day is from low 70s to high 70s. Anyway, I'm going to wait a few more minutes before doing a roll call. Hi Rebecca. And we'll start on the side the little list for the giveaway, because as I said, I'm going to do a $100 gift certificate from PolyClay that is valid only for people who live in the US. And then another thing that I have, but that is also only valid for people in the UK or who can buy stuff from Amazon UK, a $25 gift certificate. So, hi Valerie, hi Colleen. So, what we're gonna do is a couple ideas on what kind of Halloween jewelry you can do, and I've already prepared a few things, and one of them is you can do a Skinner blend that you can make. Yes, people who won last time are not eligible for 2 subsequent giveaways because it wouldn't be fair. It's not like the public lottery where you can have 10. But I'm just trying to help as many people as I can. Hi, Karen. So, you make a Skinner blend. In here, I put a whole bunch of leftovers of stuff that I did previously. So, that would be, it's both Premo and Cernit. And if you're not doing a cane, you're fine mixing stuff. Remember, I told you, only when you're doing a cane, it's not a good idea. And if you don't have the colors that you want in the cane, then mix everything with the same amount, like a quarter of what you have of translucent of one of the brands, so that you kind of bring them more in the middle, because otherwise different brands have different firmness, and as you reduce the cane, some colors might come out more than others, so you're gonna have a lot of wastage. Okay, so for the first thing, and what I have here, I was starting to tell you what I have here. I have Premo yellow and red. If you remember, a couple Sundays ago or 3 Sundays ago, when I showed you how to do the little earrings with kind of like painting with black on them. And then another one is from something that I did for my live for my sponsors, and it's actually Cernit, a Cernit metallic yellow and red. I just put them together and I made this. So now, first thing, remember that it's I'm gonna do something that actually has Halloween things on it, and the other thing, something that only has the colors that are being associated with Halloween. So let's do first the colors that are being associated with Halloween. And for this I'm going to get, this is one of the, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Premo cutter, and Trish at PolyClay Play should have it. Give me just a second. Let's check her. Let me switch it to display. So it's either a Makins or a Premo. Let's see, on Makins, because I know it's a 3-piece that I have here, and it's a shape that I really like. It's nice both for earrings and for pendants. It's kind of gemstone stuff. Okay, I guess she doesn't have it in stock. Let's check my Amazon, because if I don't find it on either one, I'm gonna grab a different. Let's check on my Amazon influencer store. Let's check the cutters. There we go. I might have to search for it and add it. So no, it's not there. So I'm gonna grab a different one. Let me grab a teardrop. This one is also either a, I forgot if it's a Premo or a Makins, but anyway, this one also works great both for pendants and for earrings. And what I'm going to do, so this will be just a combination of strictly these colors plus black, and we're gonna do a stamped mokumegane that you can use practically pretty much everything, but your best bet would be with something that's kind of undulating. That would be the best thing to do. And what this is on the thicker setting, right? So I'm going to grab this black and get it on the thinnest setting that I can get it on. Alright, so going to do an approximate. So should be, why did I remove my, hi Wendy. So I said 1, 2, so it should be about here. We reserve this. And choose your side that has the best Skinner blend. So see how here I still have a little bit of a line here, so I'm going to choose this one. And let's place it. and trim the black around it. Oops. Now again, you can use a more expensive texture on this, or you can use just simply the making, one of the makings textures. The idea is that you want to have something that will be more linear and will leave more openings, if you want. I don't know how to call them. You can use the Lisa Pavelka, I think it's called Illusions. You can use the Jitterbug of Helen Braille. Actually, let me get back on the Amazon list so we can talk about it. In any case, what you need is something that will leave a deep enough impression so you won't have problems shaving the mokumegane, and at the same time something that gives you large, longish. So you can use this one. This is a Cool Tools. Let's see, I have first the Cool Tools ones. You can even make, if you want, you can even make a, if you have any skull stamp, you can use that. Make first an inversion of it. This is also good, and this is called Tide Lines. An inversion of it, and then do the impression of the inversion. This one also looks good, because remember, stamps push in the clay, and you want a texture that would leave the clay raised. So this is the one that I was talking about. Illusionary, not illusion, illusionary. I might actually get this one, because you see you have this part that is both these two that have pretty nice raised areas. This one has pretty nice raised areas, and actually let me grab that one, but first let me show you a few more. Out of the, you can use also the embossing folders, because those, number one, they have an innie and an outie, so you can use the outie to get beautiful, like this one is a large one, so you don't. Why did they raise the price to $15? I don't understand. I know Trish has some embossing folders too. Let's see. Embossing folders. So you can use one of the flowers, and I think I have this flower one as well. You can use this lemon one, definitely. You can use this. And she's got a ton of embossing folders. And the vines aren't bad. But let's get back to our track. What do you want? Want the Lisa Pavelka one or an embossing folder? What would you prefer? Hi, Black Onyx. So yeah, prices will be jumping, because remember, they've been talking about the supply chain getting all messed up. So I know there's a few good seconds between when you hear and when I see you, because remember I left that delay so you don't have to wait for buffering. So yeah, this is, oops, I dropped my, this is one of the best things to use, and Trish has it, and it's also on my Amazon store if you wanted to use for the textures and embossing folders. It is made for embossing folders. Let's see. We are right now, we are equal to people asking for embossing folder to people asking for Lisa Pavelka, so we need one more. We need one more vote. Embossing folder or Lisa Pavelka? Actually, you know what? Let's leave the Lisa Pavelka for another one, because I need two. Two earrings. So this is okay. Let's use this flower one, because it's. Come on, get out. Let's use this flower one, because it gives you a little bit of a Day of the Dead kind of sort of thing. So, as I was saying, very careful when you choose which side, because one side will be the so-called innie, and the other one will be the so-called outie. So innie pushes the clay down, outie leaves the clay up. So this one has these are outies, so I'm gonna choose this side. Okay, so to be on the safe side, so I had this with the black, the Skinner blend is on the thicker setting on the pasta machine, and the black is on the thinnest setting that I can do without the clay starting to get shredded. And I'm going to get them first one more time through the thicker setting together, and then I am going to go 2 settings down. Hi Anna. Because what I want that black to become even thinner than it is. So I started with the 1, and then I'm going all the way down to 3. All right. When I hear guys in Canada, I wouldn't be able to live there. I'm terrified of cold. Terrified. I think it's a little bit of PTSD with me about that as well. Okay, so first let's put a little bit of Armor All. And I said it's going to be this one. Okay. On some level I do prefer the Makins one because it goes through the pasta machine and I don't have to worry about getting it deep enough. Because you don't want to move this too much, you don't want shadows. Alright, I think I have them up enough. Yeah, but you didn't go through. When I do shaving, I prefer to put the clay down because that way it gets very well stuck to the tile, so that when I shave it doesn't start lifting. While if you put the clay, normally I put the clay on top when I do this kind of texturing and stuff, because you get an impression much easier if with the clay on top. But as I said, when I do any kind of shaving, if be it stamped moku megane or mica shift, I prefer to put the texture on top because that way the clay stays stuck on the tile. That's the reason why. And if you already have the texture on it and then you try to get it stuck on the tile, you might deform the texture when you press. That's the whole deal. And you do need a very well raised. No, as I said, with me, I think it's a matter of a little bit of a PTSD, because in Romania, the last years before the fall of communism were horrible. As the dictator Ceausescu had decided to pay off Romania's national debt, so everything was exported. So we didn't really have, we had money, but we didn't really have what to spend them on. Like, I think I told you about this before. Like, for example, we had the food was ratioed, right? And you could buy only so much a month. Like, I mean, I still remember those. It was like a dozen of eggs per month, 2 pounds of sugar, a quart of vegetable oil, 2 rolls of toilet paper. I'm not kidding. Then stuff like that. And you couldn't go, because you'd say, oh yeah, but why can't you go buy this much from one store and this much from one store? You couldn't, because you could only go grocery shopping to the grocery store in your neighborhood, and they had lists with all the residents, and you had to present your ID before purchasing anything that was ratioed. And the same thing was with the water and hot water. I mean, we had water 2 hours a day and hot water 2 hours a week on Sunday. And it was the same thing with the heating, because most of the heating in Romania was done with natural gas. But natural gas would only be allowed to flow to residential areas between 11 at night and 1 o'clock at night. So if you wanted to cook, that was when you had to cook. And the power was also going out after like 10 o'clock at night, something like that. Anyway, so the thing is that Romania has 4 seasons, but winters can be rough, the same as summers can be hot. So we used to get dressed to go to bed, because you'd wake up and if you had water on the nightstand, it would be frozen. And I know that at one point I was trying to explain that to my ex-husband, and he was like, oh, stop whining, because I was stationed at in Alaska doing maintenance for 10 years and I didn't complain like you do. And I said, yeah, you were on the flight line doing maintenance, but you were coming in to a heated office and you'd go home to a heated home. With us it was like minus 20 outside, minus 20 inside. Okay, Valerie. So I think this is why I am so terrorized by cold. I mean, I still remember hours and hours. A couple times I actually fainted because of the cold, waiting for buses when I was going to school, and you know. So yeah, there's a reason why. I did a relatively good job with my impression. Not terrific, but relatively good. Once I finish this, thank you, Adrian. Once I finish this, I'm going to start doing the list for the giveaway, and we'll do the drawing at the end. Now, if you have a texture with skulls and stuff, that would be fabulous. But if you don't, you can use any of these that are more wavy and stuff. Yeah, it was not pleasant, but we survived. And yeah, you had to have your bathtub always full because you needed water to flush the toilet. And everybody who had grandparents, because that's the deal. Okay, you could buy your ratio at the neighborhood grocery store, but excuse me. There was no guarantee that they would have enough for you to buy, because it was like, especially for meat, because you could get I forgot if it was 3 pounds or 4 pounds of meat a month. But let's say that there would be like 10,000 people in a neighborhood supposed to purchase at a specific neighborhood store, but during the month they'd only get 5,000 pounds, you know. So whoever had retired grandparents, those, or elderly, they all had little folding chairs, and they would go at 2 a.m., at 3 a.m., and they would line up in front of the store to queue before the store would open, even, obviously. But so they would have enough in line to be able to get what they needed. Alright, I do have here. Now these things, generally speaking, if it wasn't for me putting something else on top of it, these things usually you get them off when you have these little slight lines from shaving. You get them off very easily with a little bit of sanding. But I'm trying to I keep saying that I need to put my older blades in a different spot, and I just keep putting them back. But yeah, see, it's a very Halloweenish combination. Very, very Halloweenish. Oops. Okay, that wasn't good. So you saw, if you start cutting and you realize that it's not a good cut, you can simply withdraw the blade and then just press that area back in, and it's going to be just fine. Just trying to remove these little lines because, for now, because you'll see I'm going to do a different thing on top of what is here. Okay, I think that this should be good enough. So the next move obviously is to burnish it. I'm not ripping it off because when I want to burnish, if you rip it off, it's going to wrinkle, so you don't want that. Okay, so as usual with the waxed part, the shiny part on the clay, and most of the wax paper brands, they have the wax only on one side. And then I'm going to grab my tiny acrylic block. This is the best size acrylic block for burnishing. And as I said many times before, on all the very high ranked polymer clay artists, and everybody's like, oh my god, that looks so perfect, that looks so beautiful, that looks so it is, burnishing perfectly plays a great role in that, because and will save you time on sanding as well, because once you burnished properly, the surface of your clay is already level enough that you don't have to worry. And why I always use wax paper, not regular paper. You can use regular paper if you really don't have any wax paper, but there are several reasons. Number one, regular paper is not shiny. Wax paper is shiny, so it's going to leave your clay shiny and nice. Number two, regular paper leaches a little bit. And number three, you cannot see through, while with the wax paper, see how I have here a little white line, and here the same, and here a little bit. That means that the paper is not adhered to the clay, and those only if you have perfectly flat ones. You cannot burnish with the rounded area. So you can see exactly where you need to insist, and then from time to time release the wax paper, because the clay underneath might be trapped and cannot really move anywhere, even if you're trying to get it. And with the roller, you never roll, you only rub strongly, true, but you only rub. That's the burnishing move. Okay, so this should be, yeah, depends on the brand. Most of them are good. Yeah, I don't use much stamps. I use my acrylic for burnishing, or for cutting, or for working on stuff sometimes. Okay, so I think I am good enough. My surface looks pretty darn good. And another thing that I am going to do, and this is optional, entirely optional, you can find, and you'll see in my Amazon store, you can find all kinds of bigger or smaller stencils. And to give you an example, these are some stencils from BB's Craft. BB Craft, not BB's Craft, sorry. Let me find one that has a ton of cats. And not just cats, it's got all kinds of other stuff, but it has all kinds of cats that are good for Halloween symbolism, right? So you can use these, or I found another stencil brand, and I think I have them added. Let me make sure that I added them to the influencer store, because I have a silk screen and a separate stencil. Okay, put it on the display capture. And some of them are larger, some of them are smaller. You can see, if you click on them, you can see the dimensions. No, I didn't add these. I'm gonna have to add them. And some of them are even small enough to use on fingernails. So if they are small enough to use on fingernails, obviously they are small enough to use on earrings and stuff like that. Let's see. Let's see what's got. What Trish got here. But I'm gonna look for these and add them. If she's got any kitties. quality, but it's not terrific. There's a spider web. You can use a spider web instead of a cat. I don't have any spider web stuff. But yeah, she's got a ton of them, so I promise after the live I'm going to look for cat stencils and things, so I don't keep you too long. But anyway, I got this this is another set that I got that has, like, actually let me turn it around because it's upside down, like all kinds of kitties and even a crowned skull. So you can use any of these, but I'm gonna grab the BB's Craft because I know that the stencils from BB Craft were very, very cheap. You get, like, I don't know, 20, 24, something like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do first though is to already have my earrings cut. Let me check something, so if I have one, two, I think I can deal with 4 of them. I can make 2 pairs. I got it very stuck to the tile. But yeah, there's all kinds of, as I said, you can look in the, if you want something really small, look in the nail art section and you'll find a ton of those. And let's place them. Let's place them directly on a mirror, both for working and, but I had another mirror here. Might have to go grab another mirror. We still have, yeah, we still have a Sunday before Halloween, so give me just a second. I need to grab another mirror. I thought I had 2 here. My bad, I usually bake and leave them in the kitchen. And after this I'm going to show you something else. I've showed my sponsors before. I'm not sure if I showed it on the public live. And I know I haven't seen anybody doing this. It's something that I have discovered fairly recently. All right, so okay. I'm going to make one with interference gold and the other one with interference red. And you can choose whichever you want, and if you find some that are even smaller than this, so I'm going to use this one here. What in the world? I don't know about you, but I'm getting worse and worse about if I'm starting to do something and let's say the phone rings or one of the cats starts yowling about something, and I have to take care of it. By the time I'm done, whatever I was doing before, so okay, these are really neat things to apply powders with. So let's go with the gold on this one. And I'm not gonna make them identical. But they will be both Halloweenish, right? And make sure that you get the powder in all the little crevices. There we go. And actually I can use this one. I forgot we are dealing here with a double side, right? So just let me make sure that I clean it really good. And we're gonna turn it around. And make sure you press it well on the clay so you wouldn't have powder going under, right? and do the same thing. Alrighty. And on the other ones, as I said, I'm gonna use another kitty and the interference red. Let's find which kitty we want here. Actually, there are two of the same kitties on here. This is too big. This has some stuff under it. So let me use the same kitty only. I'm gonna use the one on the other side because reasons. Okay. And I said interference red. And you can, of course, you can use this for all kinds of other themes, you know. You don't have to do this just for Halloween or just for... See, if I had discovered this earlier, I would have used one for one side and the other one for the flip side. This way I have to clean it. Okay. We're supposed to have some more rain, but no more storms. Because I'm telling you, last week was horrible. You know, I also was very tired over the weekend because I didn't sleep right at night, because all those tornadic storms were at night, right? So, next thing to do, but yeah, the interference red is seeable. It depends on how, that's why I wanted to use both, because I wanted to show you how it looks like if you do something more subtle or if you do something more showy. Right? So next thing I'm going to do is ta-da, put resin on them. And I know you're going to start telling me, but you didn't bake it. Yeah, I know, I didn't bake it. But the Chinese UV resin you can bake without any problems. But the thing is that because the clay is stuck on the mirror underneath, it's not going to start warping because of the resin. So you can first bake the front, and then if you want add a different color backing, or just simply, you know, sand a little bit the back so it wouldn't have the shininess from the mirror. And there's that. Okay, second one. Yeah, laser cutters are awesome. I worked with laser cutters for quite a bit. I remember I used to use Corel Draw for the vector. Because it's much better if you use a vector graphic than a JPEG type of graphic. And Corel Draw worked just fine for it. But I did laser cutting and laser engraving on stuff you wouldn't even think. I think that you can. I'm not sure if all crickets, but I know I heard people talking about making stencils on their cricket. Okay, now good. Let's get it in the lamp and do the other two. I think Elaine must be sleeping. I didn't try yet soft resin baking, so this is valid for hard. So I didn't try the soft baking because I had no reason to try the soft baking. Everything I did with it was stuff that was flexible, either in terms of like a bracelet or like those goldfish things that didn't really need a backing of any kind. So I didn't have a reason to try the soft resin. But again, don't do this with casting resin, because most casting resins yellow out and might even start getting burned in the Oh yeah, and somebody asked me if it is possible to, because I showed long time ago, I showed how to make eyes for dolls using liquid clay like Fimo or Kato PolyClay to do the whole eye thing. But somebody asked me if you can use UV resin instead of the liquid clay, and definitely if you use the Chinese, don't use the Lisa Pavelka. Lisa Pavelka doesn't handle the oven very good. But if you use Chinese resin, it will definitely work. So as you can see, in terms of this being nice Halloween style earrings, it is transparent enough, so don't use mica powder that's not transparent. Use something that is transparent. And you can use all kinds of other colors, waiting for the interference red to come out. The gold, out of all the interferences in Perlex, the gold is the least transparent. All the other ones would look pretty good and not so shiny, but we'll see here in about 20 seconds how the red looks like. And again, it's very important to make sure that your stencil is very well stuck on the clay. Yeah, paper stencils are not good. What I used to do, especially because I'm using a lot of templates, but what I do, because the laminated ones last the longest. But if you cannot laminate a template, and I'm wondering if cardstock stencils would work on that as well, I normally just put a coat of Minwax on both sides. Okay. Almost done on the red ones. And of course you can use just plain white, but it'll look more like a ghost. But again, try not to put it on too heavy. You see, the red is not as, but it's still there. So this would be one idea for making stuff like this. And I've been up for an hour and I didn't do the list. Goodness gracious me. What about this? Let's do the list Sunday, and I'll do the list and draw in the first 15 minutes of the live, and then we'll do another thing, because remember, I cannot be up in the chair for more than an hour. I am hurting. So why don't we do that? Yeah, or you can another thing that you can try, these are too thin, but some of the transparent sheets for laser printers would work too. So let's leave it for Sunday, and as I said, I will do the giveaway in the first 15 minutes of the live, so that way I'll get that out of the. I'm sorry, Beth, but I really cannot sit in this chair much longer. I'm starting to hurt really bad. And we'll do the second one, because the second one that I want to show you is using the same type of stuff, but making a pumpkin thingy. Okay, so I will see you Sunday at the regular 12:30, and it's not like I'm trying to hold from you the giveaway, but as I said, I'm sorry, but my back is starting to do like that. And yes, I did take something for the pain before the live. I didn't take any muscle relaxer, because those would put me to sleep, but this works just great. Oh, and by the way, you can do this also on mica shift. Yes, you can definitely do Christmas stuff as well. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you on Sunday. Thank you. Bye.